Welcome everyone. This is going to be kind of an impromptu tour of all the honeypot colonies I have. And we're going to start off with kind of my favorites, going down to my least favorites. So this right here is going to be Myrmecocystus depilis. This is a 2-queen colony. I caught both queens in the same chamber, and out of all the years that I've been catching these, I have only done that once. And this colony has stayed together for going on 2 years now, into their 3rd year. They produce really big repletes for their small size. The queen's a little bit smaller than Navajo, and they're just a super cool color, and this colony is just on fire with their brood cycle. Next, we have Myrmecocystus Navajo. This queen here, again, she's just on fire with her brood cycle. This colony and the last colony were both raised in Tar Heel layers, which in my personal opinion, I think is the absolute best nest that you can raise a colony in after they get workers. They started off in that layer and then went to this atrium, and I recently added a custom addition that Mac at Tar Heel Ants had made me, and they're just now starting to move brood into there, and pretty soon this whole tower will be full of repletes. This queen, every time I get a glimpse at her, she's got an egg coming out. I've never not seen her with an egg coming out, so this colony is doing real great, and they'll be going into their 2nd season. And if you guys notice, there's quite a bit of condensation in certain pinpoint spots in these nests that I'm showing you, and that's a key to honeypots, is you don't want to heat or make the whole entire nest humid. You want to do just pinpoint locations so they have choices in where they want to be. This next colony here is probably my most special and unique honeypot colony. It has 6 unrelated queens inside the colony, and they'll stay that way for the entirety of their lives. They're absolutely on fire with brood cycle as well. I actually don't feed this colony as much as my others because I already got them a Pioneer XXL, the biggest one Mac's ever made, and they've already filled it up in less than a year. So there's still some space for them, but I will have to make some additions for them soon. Also, recently, this colony started to produce elates. I'm only seeing males at this time, but pretty soon we should start seeing some virgin queens as well. But this colony on their replete production is just insane. And then, I mean, you can see throughout the nest in a lot of places there's a carpet of brood on the floor, and they keep that cycle at all time. That's another thing I'd like to talk about on honeypots, is that if you can get them on a good brood cycle where there's always one of the 3 stages of brood, then they will just absolutely explode, and you'll get to a point where you'll have to start slowing your feeding down because they're producing workers way faster than workers are dying. And in this colony too, and all of these colonies actually, I'm slowly rotating through different colors of feed just to get some more unique looking repletes in there. So right now we got some black ones, some yellow ones, some red ones, some green ones. But yeah, this colony, it's up there with my favorites, but not quite to the top. This next colony here is my placodops 01 colony. I actually just moved them into this layer XXL, I guess you would call it, custom nests, probably 2 or 3 months ago, and to my surprise, they've already kind of filled it up. So this is another colony that I'll be building an addition for, trying to get away from doing a straight move where I remove all the repletes by hand and do that. I'm starting to try to get to additions so I don't have to go through that process with such big colonies. This queen is absolutely just hammering out the brood cycle right now. They're getting repletes really fast. Again, I've kind of slowed down on feeding this colony as well because they're getting so large. And then this here is Myrmecocystus romandii. I caught this queen at the tail end of last season in Arizona, and she is doing really well. Their brood cycle's going pretty good. They did have quite a bit of a lapse there in the last 2 cycles, so they slowed down a little bit, but she's pumping out the eggs again soon. And for this colony, again, it's like one of those small species that produces nice large repletes, and they're young, not even mature yet, so I'm sure they'll have some pretty gigantic repletes towards the end. Excited to see this colony grow. And this here is Myrmecocystus placodops 02, smaller variant than the 01. I actually caught this queen here in Texas, which hasn't been recorded yet, but I also caught her in the middle of the night with no lights on, so I don't know exactly where I got her. I just ended up finding her in the tubes that night. This queen's doing really good. They got some awesome sized repletes, and they're in a casita style nest from Tar Heel again, and eventually I'll be moving them into not a pioneer, but the one below that. So I'll be excited to do that. Here's kind of a shot at the queen. She always sits in her same spot there, but this colony is pumping out eggs and larvae, and yeah, they're on fire too. And here's my Myrmecocystus mexicanus colony. They're about 2 years old now. This colony is actually probably the one I feed the least because they're pretty explosive in growth when you give them the right conditions and you feed them a lot. So I'm just slowing them down a little bit. They'll be going into a nucleus here very soon, and then that'll probably be the last move for them. And then I'll just give them additions. But yeah, this queen's just doing her thing. They have a lot of larvae, a lot of repletes. In this nest, the stronghold, it's kind of hard to see at the water towers, and that's where they keep most of the larvae and eggs and stuff like that. But yeah, this colony is doing really well. And this is my smallest colony and the newest colony, caught at the very end of last season. This is Myrmecocystus yuma. They got about 6 workers and a couple pupa, but they had a few good lapses in brood cycle. So this is where we'll end. Thank you guys for watching. And if you guys want to see anything else specific, leave it in the comments. Thanks.